That's true. Hi, that's good boys. Heard his name, look back. So, I'm using True's early sniff walk to give my opinion on just let them sniff, where the problem is the just part. That's a good boy. See how he checks in every once in a while. He's a good dog. And then I was also probably going to say something about grouping. So there's a reel came across my feed the other day that said, how do you stop a dog from sniffing on walks, right? And you watch the dogs for a second, blah, 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 and it says, you don't. You let them, and then it goes on all the certain ideological beliefs of why you should let the dog sniff. I shouldn't say that. That part's not ideological, because there's benefits to sniffing. They should sniff, right? It's good for them. However, posts like that and people who think, if they think that the walk is the dog's walk, right? So there's this movement, there's this, I don't know, a group? Is it a movement? I don't know that it's a movement, but a lot of people I've seen lately saying the walk is the dog's walk, right? And no, the dog is living in our world, right? Look, if you want to let your dog sniff all over the place when you go on a walk, then let him do it. Most people, though, they want to walk with their dog. They don't want to do stuff like this all the time, right? And when they go on a walk, they want to go around 3 blocks or down the street and around the school and back home. They don't want to stop at every single mailbox and let the dog sniff somebody's pee. Now, the dog's nose is good enough that they don't have to stop. Usually what I do is if they sniff and keep pace, I'm fine with it, right? So I think we got ourselves caught. There we go. Right? So now everybody here, and quite honestly, I think since I started doing more sniff walks, I've had more issues with dogs. But as in taking longer, not issues, but taking longer for the leash manners to get down, right? So maybe like at home it's good to do one sniff walk and one structured walk. For me, I should be doing more structured walks because I got to get them rules in there for people. So what I don't like about them going in there is, out here, buddy. What I don't like about them going in there is those people always throw food over the side because they can't throw their trash away. So anyways, that's also what I always say on here too, is, so first, yeah, they should be able to sniff. But what you do is you work your leash rules, you use the sniff breaks as a reward, right? So initially when I'm telling people to do their leash work is just get 2 or 3 minutes of a good walk and give the dog a sniff break, right? Eventually you're going to build that up to 5 to 7 minutes of good walk and then a sniff break. And then you're going to build that up to 10 to 12 minutes and a sniff break, right? But usually what I do is I let these guys, if we're not on an actual free walk, I call this a free walk, where they just get to go do whatever, pretty much. But I'll usually let them have the first, 5-6 minutes to sniff and pee or whatever, and then we're walking. So that's on the way out here, right? So on the way out here in the apartments, in front of these apartments, and then at the very start of the field over there, right? I let them, hey, we gotta go this way. We gotta go all the way to the end.
It's a good boy.
And I've had some dogs here that I haven't been able to let them. I've only used the sniff as a reward, right? Because when I did free walks with them, they get hyped up on even Ginger. So Ginger's here all the time. When I give her about a 5 to 7 minute free walk. She gets less free walk than anybody else. She gets plenty of free time, but she gets less free walk than anybody else because she starts getting jacked up. So what it does with her is it raises her energy level, right? So I have to watch. Oh, were you looking for a spot to poop? So basically, the problem with just let them sniff is that it's assuming that everybody has the belief that the dog can do whatever it wants to do, right? And most people don't. And some people are fine with that. Yeah, when I take the dog out on a walk, it is the dog's walk. If that's what you want out of it, then great, right? The problem with a lot of dogs in doing that is if that's all they're getting in a walk, if they're not getting an actual walk like somewhat with you, I'm not even talking like perfect, because I don't do that. If they don't get it at least somewhat, like right now, what are we doing? He's doing whatever he wants to do. He's not getting it. There's no benefit to our relationship out of this. He's getting good sniffs, right? And it's good for him. They say it lowers their heart rate and all that stuff. That's some scientific stuff that they throw out there. So, I don't know. I think it's like everything, right? So it depends on the dog. How does your dog act on the sniff walk? This guy, he's had plenty of work, so he checks in every once in a while. Right? If you got a dog that ain't never checking in, he's gonna be pulling your arm out. So it's always better to start with the structure and then give him this, right? So, like say you get this dog, it's better to start structure and good leash work and then start letting it slack off once your relationship's all good. 7 minutes? All right, that's all I'm talking about then. Did I hit all my points? Just letting them sniff is working under the assumption that everybody wants to just let the dog do whatever it wants. Yes, the dog needs sniff time. Give it sniff breaks. Think about the reward that it is. Like if we're walking for 10 minutes, I go, okay, go sniff or break, whatever you want to say. And you go over and you let him sniff. And it's a dog that really likes to sniff, right? I mean, they all like to sniff. But say there's a dog that you got like Chico, I started letting his walk slack off. And man, everywhere he wants to just stop and anchor in. And that's what can happen, right? And if you want to allow that to happen, then allow it to happen. Oh, and then another part of that was one I saw, it was about a reactive dog, right? The girl goes, I think it was a girl, pretty sure it was. But she said, things I let my reactive do on walks that they tell you not to do, right? And it's letting them walk in front and letting them do all kinds of stuff. And then at the very last, it's like, but first we do this, right? It's like, yeah, you're gonna put that last. The problem with that is people aren't gonna read the whole thing, right? People are gonna see, oh, I got a reactive dog, I can let him be on a 10-foot leash way out in front of me, right? They don't get to the part where we spend a lot of time teaching disengagement and recall or whatever and checking in. So you put a shit ton of work in before you started doing that. Don't just tell people you let your reactive dog do that kind of stuff, because people have their reactive dog and they're not going to put all that work in. or they're going to think, I shouldn't say they're not going to put all the work in, but they're going to see the way it's worded. They're going to get to the end and they're going to be like, not even reading by that point. They're just going to see, oh, I get to let my dog do this. When it's a bad practice, unless you've done all that work first. Because I think reactivity is like, it's like alcoholism, right? It's kind of always there. You can do all this work to reduce it and get them to focus on you better. But they're always going to have that feeling that they want to do it. I don't know. Who can tell? They can't tell us. All they can do is you condition a different response from them acting out. You condition at that certain point that they're looking at you. And it's a lot of work. That's why I don't like a lot of those little short reels when they're talking about that stuff. They got this thing now where they do big old long typing, so you got to read the caption, right? Oh, that's what it was, because I had to read a big old long caption. I'm like, people aren't going to read all this stuff, because you got the video going in the back. And I think they do that. They put a big old long caption so they can get more views on their thing. Because every time it restarts, don't they get another view? So if it plays the video 5 times while you're reading the caption, I think they get 5 views. I don't know. Could be wrong. I saw something about that. But they were talking about TV views compared to internet views. I don't know, some weird thing. I don't know, whatever. Later.